All right, we're here with Spencer Harris, who was formerly, gosh, I mean, your position at USC, you had a title and all that kind of stuff, but for those who don't know, what exactly was your role at the University of Southern California the last 3+ years?
Yeah, you can throw titles out in athletic departments.
Yeah.
They're different regardless of where you're at. I oversaw the recruiting and personnel operation for USC for the last 3 years. So changed a little bit under Coach Riley, but really my focus was personnel and working with Coach Riley to manage the roster, to evaluate players, and to kind of just oversee and organize the entire process from identifying them to high school recruits to signing day. So obviously a lot that goes into that, and working with our coaches on a really daily basis to make sure that we brought the best players into USC. And that was really my sole objective in my mind, is if we're bringing in 25 players every single year, how are we going to make sure that they're the best 25 so that we can win championships? That's how I view my job.
And a lot of fans don't understand that some of the most vital people on a coaching staff are people like you. You know, the coaches go out, they evaluate and they look at guys, but you know, there's a staff of you guys, and you are heading that staff that really evaluate these guys to make sure you are bringing in those right guys. We won't talk recruiting, except what were some of the challenges with the transfer portal, because you were that guy for the transfer portal as well.
Right. I think the biggest challenge, and from the outside looking in, is someone goes in the portal, you have to evaluate them immediately, and you want them on your roster, but so does everybody else, and everybody's going through the exact same process. So it's a big challenge to try to be first, and try to make your sell really, really strong, and get them on campus as quickly as possible and build the relationship in such a short time. That's the biggest difference from high school recruiting, is the window is so small to try to get in the door and really make sure that you put your best foot forward to try to acquire that person to your team. Obviously, we had a ton of success in the last 7 months, so we didn't face too many challenges in the transfer portal because we were very successful and had a really clear plan and was able to execute and capitalize on all the momentum around Coach Riley and his arrival to USC, and then using Caleb and all those different things that added up to it. So it's a different beast than high school recruiting. I loved it personally because of how quickly we were able to turn over the roster and what the team's going to look like this fall because of what we were able to do in the last 6 months through the portal.
And it's like there's two worlds, right? There's the 2-year relationship recruitment with the high school kids, and the 2-week recruitment period that you have typically. That's sometimes it's faster than that, obviously. But all right, NIL, name, image, and likeness. We if we say NIL, there's still going to be a lot of people that have no idea what that means. But when we're talking about name, image, and likeness, and the opportunities that these sometimes high school athletes or college athletes have, just talk about what that actually means. What does having an opportunity to make money off name, image, and likeness mean for these athletes?
Yeah, it means that student athletes will have the opportunity to earn money for their own name, image, and likeness, and to enter into endorsement contracts and other avenues to earn money while they're a college athlete, which obviously they hadn't had the opportunity to do that before July 1st, 2021. And now they are. So there's a lot of different ways that they can make money off their NIL. And we're looking to explore all of those and make sure that USC athletes are benefiting more so than they could than anywhere else they could go. That's our goal.
And with the partnership that USC has now with Stay Doubted, what is your role that you will play in this name, image, and likeness era?
Yep. So the partnership with USC and Stay Doubted as a whole created a property called Boulevard, which obviously you've seen in social media and through the press release with USC Athletics. So my role is to work really closely with the CEO of Stay Doubted and some other people that are on the team to really oversee the Boulevard operation. And so I'm going to be working really closely day to day with USC coaching staffs, with donors that want to get involved, with businesses that want to get involved, and really organizing that whole process so that it can function at a really high level and generate a lot of revenue, which will then be distributed to our student athletes.
Right now, we read about, we hear about, we watch videos of these name, image, and likeness deals that some of these athletes are making, that they're using the collectives at these schools, and there's NIL lawyers that are involved and all that kind of stuff. And it's, it's kind of like, some people would consider it pay for play and stuff like that, but there really aren't any guardrails right now. There's no boundaries right now in this whole thing. And I know you guys are kind of planning for the time when there will be, but you have a guy who is allegedly signing an $8 million deal, which we don't even know if that's accurate, but let's just say it is. How is a school like USC going to be able to compete with like a Miami or a Texas A&M, where they are almost admitting that they are offering these massive NIL deals?
Yeah, I don't think no structure and no guardrails is necessarily a good thing for anybody, even the people that want to go outside of those rails.
Mm-hmm.
It creates a lot of uncertainty, and what we're doing is creating structure, but also being just as competitive as some of those other programs. And that's really what USC was trying to achieve with this partnership. And I give credit to the people that were involved and trying to analyze the whole landscape. Yes, there's other schools might make headlines, there might be splash commits, whatever it is, but what is the best long-term solution for USC? And that's why they created this partnership. Is while there might not be any guardrails by the NCAA, we can provide really clear structure for our student athletes, right? Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what's most important, is how can we support our student athletes in NIL in the most clear and structured and efficient way, while being as competitive as possible in recruiting. And I think this structure really achieves both those things. So while there might not be overall rules that are very clear, our structure is going to be really clear, and trying to be as transparent as possible, while we think we can go compete with the best of the best, and we are the best of the best, and should really reestablish what a leader in NIL is, and that's our goal with this program.
We won't talk about the collectives that much, but one of the questions that I get quite often is, does USC have a collective, or is that what Stay Doubted is? I mean, Boulevard is.
Yeah, I view Boulevard as an evolution of a collective plus model, where it has all the framework that you might hear at another school, where we are looking for membership contributions, and we are going to distribute those contributions to our student athletes. We are going to facilitate NIL opportunities. We're going to manufacture them and create and promote Boulevard as a brand and pay players for those opportunities. Additionally, we are doing all these other things where we are going to lean into everything that USC is, the network, the Los Angeles community, and all that makes USC great to make this thing bigger and better than anybody else could. And that's what the Trojan family is all about. That's everything I heard for, the 3 years there is how, special this university is, because it offers so much and there's so many people tied to it. And that's where we really want to lean in, and using the expertise of the company behind all this, and Stay Doubted. This is what they do. They are a media company that has expertise and talent representation, which is a big piece of us. We're offering agency representation to all USC athletes, and they've worked in the sponsorship world, which you don't see other collectives doing. They've never worked with Fortune 500 brands, and that's what Stay Doubted does, and that's where they bring these worlds together to really make it a machine for USC.
This leads me to this question. Again, I'm often asked, can somebody, like my brother, for example, who attended the University of Southern California, and he loves supporting his school, the USC, can he contribute anywhere? And can fans, how is this the structure set up for that type of contribution?
Yeah, absolutely. So we will have, once we fully launch in August. Right now, we're just putting some things together and organizing that launch. We will have a membership program available for any and all to contribute to our general athlete fund. They can choose a sport of their choosing, up to 50% of their contribution. The other 50% goes to an athlete fund that then we get to decide how to use that fund based on athletes that we feel is our best fit. And so within that membership program, there'll be different perks that members will have access to based on their level of contribution. Additionally, if you have a business or a company that you're a part of, or an owner, or some really strong influence, you can facilitate an endorsement deal through Boulevard for all athletes that have opted in. So we are looking for all opportunities to facilitate NIL deals. And this model, what I think is really unique is some schools have four different areas of NIL opportunities, and donors don't know where to go. Players don't know where to go. Coaches don't know where to go. Well, we've consolidated, and this is one clear structure where every athlete, every coach, every interested donor or booster, every fan knows, hey, this is our NIL program, and everything flows through here, and it makes it really clean and efficient so we can operate.
All right. So part of what the advantages of being at the University of Southern California is you are in Southern California. Is another one of the advantages that USC might have, having the partnership with you guys, is that these Fortune 500 companies and these big companies will be more inclined to maybe contribute to you guys because of how professional and how well organized this whole setup is?
Absolutely. Brands want to work with experts, right? With other experts. They want it to be very easy. So if we have a team that already has relationships in place and this structure in place, we can facilitate it really easily for them, right? We're going to handle all of the work on their side, of working with the athletes, signing contracts, all that, the kind of logistical challenges that some other schools may face right now. And we have a really easy process because we have people that have done it before.
All right. You know, the old expression, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, or whatever the expression is. And I think that's what we have with NIL. And do you think that part of the perception, at least with the fan base, that maybe USC is behind some other schools, is the fact that you guys aren't really up and running yet, and there's really nothing to show as far as results?
I think that's fair. And I think every fan, and they have the right, whatever program they're a fan of, they probably think they're behind, right? That's just the way fans work. That. Yeah. That being said, we're frustrated by recruiting losses too. We're right there with you. We want to do this together. And that's why we're here. I left a great job from working at USC as Coach Riley gets his career started. We have all this momentum, and I left. This is just a small example from a personal standpoint, because I know how important this is, and I know how much potential there is for USC to win national championships, because that's really the goal. And players don't make decisions anymore without knowing the NIL potential. So this is our avenue to really execute on how NIL can be most successful at USC. And I'll say this too, we've been talking about Boulevard and NIL and the potential of it within the walls of USC football for 6-7 months at least now, since Lincoln got here, right? And it helped land the #1 transfer class, the potential of it, right? And we've been talking about with the players for a long time too. And now that it's finally here, now we get to go execute on it and get rid of that word potential. So I think for fans, they should be really excited about this, because yes, it might seem like we're behind, or that other programs have had this in place. Well, now it's here, and now we get to do something about it and be a part of it. So it's a really exciting time. Obviously, you can tell that I'm fired up about it, and you know that I'm as competitive as it gets, and wouldn't leave my job in football if it wasn't something as substantial as this. So it's an exciting time, and we're with you every step of the way, all fans.
And I can tell you all that he absolutely was fired up about the job that he had previous to this and the opportunity to work with Lincoln Riley. So anyway, this isn't just coming out now, that he's excited about a new job, because it has to be a pretty darn good job for you to have left the one you had. But what are some of the services that you guys will provide these student athletes?
Yeah, I think we're looking at a full approach of how can we benefit them through NIL in so many different ways, whether it's financial literacy. I mean, these players are earning quite a bit of money, and they have no idea, don't necessarily have any idea how much do they need to save for taxes. How do I invest my money for the next part of my career? So we're looking at different partnerships like that. We're looking where we want to, talk to different schools within USC, talk to the Marshall schools, talk to Annenberg, talk to Gould, and really get entrenched with some of the resources that are found there. We really want to connect with former players too. I think that's an aspect where former players didn't have these opportunities when they were college football players, and now this is their chance to really not necessarily give back, but connect back to the current players that do. Whether trying to reach out to Juju and do collaborations with him, and really just find internship opportunities, business opportunities. I think this is the first time where it's really been okay and encouraged for donors to have so much relationships and connections with current players, right? Because they can work together and be a part of this together. So I think that opens up a lot of doors for beyond just cash transactions. You might see across the country. So there's so much more we can do with this brand education and all that goes into the next phase of their lives beyond just college football.
We're starting to hear us talk about these NIL deals that are being offered to these guys, and these schools not be able to follow through with executing on those. Is that something that you guys are like very confident that that's not going to happen, because you're not relying on individuals to be paying out these almost absurd amounts of money for these guys that have never played it down in college football? They're not going to run into the same problems that they would have with some of these collectives.
Absolutely. I think that refers back to the conversation we were having earlier, just about this one entity model where we can really operate efficiently and have really clear communication with what the needs are, and know that we know what was said, and then we can follow through on it. And so, yeah, I think that word spreads really quickly in college football recruiting, really quickly. So you have to follow through on what you say and what promises are made, whether current players are recruiting, whatever it is. So I think this model, we can control a lot of that. And we can follow through on a lot of that. Like this isn't just some donor saying, hey, I'll give you this. Like, this is a legit entity that is offering legit contracts to current players and then following through on them to get them paid.
How much, because you guys aren't really officially started yet, right? Are these like conversations you're going to end up ultimately being able to have with recruits?
We will not be able to have any conversations with recruits.
Okay.
That's not what we do. We focus on current players because that's within the rules of the NCAA. And then we can communicate with the coaching staffs and educate them on what's happening within Boulevard. So we can discuss generally what type of money is being distributed, how it's being distributed to who, and then they can go recruit with it.
Okay.
And that's people say you have to pay for play, you have to recruit, you have to cheat. Absolutely not. I really believe strongly that this model can lead to consistently top classes.
The recruits that I talk to, they're still they trust you. They know how excited Lincoln Riley is for what you guys are doing and what the opportunities hold for the football program. But they're not really sure of what's going to be available to them. Would you foresee at some point between now and the end of the year, these recruits will be educated by the coaching staff at USC or others that are a part of the football program, so they'll know what's going on? Yeah,
absolutely. I think where we're at today, July 18th, and where we're at even from a month from today or 2 months from today, I think a lot of answers will be had, and there will be a lot more clarity on exactly what we can do and what the power is. I know what we can do, and I think it's going to be very successful. And I've communicated that downwards. But now it's like it's time to go execute, and that's what we're doing right now. We're working already with several football players, with several players of other sports. We've signed contracts with many players, some short term, some longer term. So yes, we haven't launched to the public yet, but I promise you that we're working, and we're getting our guys taken care of.
Are you able to share some of the companies that are already willing to work with you guys?
Yeah, I'll hold that until we fully launch.
Yeah. Okay. But you guys, but there is stuff already kind of in place that you already have companies that are going to be a part of this.
We do.
All right. What are you most excited about as far as is this? Because honest to God, we've only been talking for about 15 minutes right now, but I'm actually far more impressed what I think the opportunities are going to be and how soon they'll be available to these student athletes than I was, 15 minutes ago. What are you most excited about? The difference, other than just where you're located? I know that's a big part, but what are you most excited about with this whole partnership?
Yeah, I think the results, right? Like it's similar to football for me. It's all about the challenge and the process, and I view this as the same way. Like there's a lot that can be done if this is done correctly, right? And everything goes as planned, and then the end result of that, I think, is really unique for all of USC athletics. It's not just like football. I think we see it in the media. Like that is the focus of NIL. Is all these major deals and how much money you need to spend on your team, and we're trying to be competitive with that, and I think we can build a championship roster going in, competing in the Big Ten in 2024. I mean, that's what we have to get ready for, but I think it's across all sports is when this can really operate and it's really efficient. There's a lot of money that can be had for current athletes and a lot of opportunities and resources, and that's just going to trickle down to recruiting at a tremendous level. So to me, it's all about the challenge of this and trying to fulfill the process as best as possible.
I'm going to sneak one off-topic question in here.
Go for it.
Just overall, just how long did it take you to understand what you guys got in Lincoln Riley?
I think I'm waiting to see it for the fall. I mean, like,
all right,
what he's going to do this fall. Like I got a sneak peek of it in the spring with the scheme. Obviously, I got maybe more of a sneak peek, but I think his game to game scheme and plan is really what's going to turn USC football up a notch, because that's where the genius is. I mean, obviously, what the success we've had in recruiting, the transfer portal, the culture change, the staff that he's brought in has made a huge impact. But I don't think we're going to fully see the Lincoln Riley effect until we see some players wide open for touchdowns, which I know are coming.
Look, that spring game was impressive, and they used like 15% of the playbook. But all right, I'm going to give you some of those angry questions now from fans.
Okay. Oh boy. Let's see what we can do
here. You may hit end on me before I finish asking this one, but first of all, I love the name Stay Doubted, but there are some fans that have their doubts, pardon the pun. And how did you end up with Stay Doubted? Or I know you necessarily weren't the one that could, but how did Stay Doubted become the name?
Right. I think the CEO would probably give the best explanation, but I will try. So their whole objective is the intersection of athlete lifestyle and culture. So they're looking at 18 to 24-year-olds, right? And I would guess that most athletes 18 to 24 live with some sort of doubt in their lives, whether it's athletic, whether it's personal. So that's their whole motto, is to keep that chip on your shoulder, to stay doubted and use that to move forward. But that is it's for the 18 to 24-year-olds. That's where it came from. But again, he could give a better and more thorough explanation than I can, but that's my best attempt.
Yeah, for some reason, I actually really like it. But all right. So we've already established that you guys aren't like in the market to try and compete for high school players necessarily, as if Miami and Texas A&M. So that was the question, but you've already hit on that one. I guess another question that's been asked is that was the plan to have this launch sooner than it will be in August, right? Next month?
The plan, this has been in the works for a long time, and it got pushed back for a number of different reasons. But this is where we are today. But to answer the question, would a June press release and an August launch right before the season be ideal for us 6 months ago? Probably not, but we were focused on some other things, and it got pushed back, and this is where we're at today. So we're rolling with it.
Megan joined you as well, so she left a pretty good job as well. And what specifically is she somebody that works under you? What is kind of the pecking order that we have here? Because you got some talent. They added some talented guys in guys and girls in you and Megan.
Correct. Yeah. So she'll be working with me. She's a superstar, and so she'll really be working day to day with the athletes themselves and their families. So really, all the logistics that goes into that that people might not fully realize, whether that's their school schedule, their football schedule, homework. I mean, there's a lot that we're putting on these athletes' plates, and fitting NIL into all that is tough. So she really brings them these opportunities and works with them on a daily basis, can answer questions, be a shoulder to lean on, so that we can execute at a really high level.
Somebody says, I hear Oklahoma is giving all sports athletes a stipend of $50,000 a year. And they asked me if it's true. I have no idea. But I mean, is that something that schools are going to be doing, or is this more internet bull?
I'd be very careful of things you saw on social media once, and then them actually being executed.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference with press releases and social media. It's a grain of salt, and I've always said that. So I can't say if that's true or not true. I have a pretty good feeling though, and I think you do too.
Yes. There's stuff that you talked about. Some of the student athletes we hear have been doing photo shoots for you guys, and I don't know if you want to reveal all your plans. I might be talking. You might tell me to edit part of this out for all I know. But there's going to be billboards put up around Los Angeles. Is this something that we can confirm with you? I
am not sure where that information came from, but they are currently doing some different video shoots, photo shoots. That's around different lifestyle series.
Okay.
One is on what music means to them. So we have a couple athletes talking about music, picking different songs, why it sticks to them, when do they listen to it, things like that. And it's done at a really high production level. So all coming soon. It'll be some really cool content that these players are getting paid for. I think that's the thing that sticks out the most. They're getting paid to do all this, and it's going to be really cool.
Okay, August obviously is the month before the season starts. Is that why you guys are like really trying to gear up to make sure this does happen in August?
Absolutely. I mean, this is for all USC athletics, and we want to get rolling for everybody. But obviously, with a big season coming ahead, that is a big focus for us.
When you guys do get started, is this something that you would anticipate that all of the student athletes at USC will at some point benefit somehow monetarily from state outed Boulevard?
We can't guarantee that. And I think all will see something at some point. But it really just depends. So we can't guarantee that, but a lot will see some monetary benefit.
Was USC helpful in the Dr. Dre Beats relationship with Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams was helpful for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, there you go.
That Caleb is his own brand, and he's doing a ton on his own. Obviously, he's got a great team around him, but no, that is some social media fodder. Caleb is Caleb, and has had a ton of success because of the person he is and what he did on the field.
I mean, that's what I always figured, but there's people that think that he went to USC because they paid him, and it's like, come on. You guys at USC have been following rules that I felt didn't exist for years. So if there was any program that I knew wasn't breaking the rules blatantly, it was USC.
People love to stab USC. They'll take whatever jab they can at USC, and that's going to keep coming. We can't control that.
All right. Well, hey, I was going down my list of questions here, and there were actually quite a few. The fans. I mean, this is.
I saw. I was ready.
Oh yeah.
I saw a few.
But the beautiful thing about what you did is you pretty much answered them all, because a lot of the questions I think revolved around how are you guys going to help get high school football players? And just for the people that maybe didn't get his point before, Stay Down in Boulevard is not to attract high school football players directly to sign a letter of intent. But just, again, let's finish on what exactly, how you guys are dealing, if at all, with high school football players.
I don't necessarily agree with what you just said. We are not communicating with high school recruits. Our goal is to get the best recruits at USC, and we do that by getting our players of all positions the most money possible. And that's the way I see it, is I'm going to facilitate the most money possible to all the players on our team that deserve it, and that perform those NIL opportunities. And in turn, they're going to go recruit the next best class so we can win.
All right, this will. I lied. One more question. Zachariah Branch is one of those dudes. I put up a video, a 30-second video clip of that guy, and it gets 500,000 views. I'm exaggerating by a lot, but I mean, what kind of an opportunity does a dude like that has the personality, that has the game, and all of the has everything? I mean, is somebody like him somebody who is kind of at the max point potentially for earning NIL?
I think, yeah, his upside through NIL is massive. I think 7 figures is very realistic for him. He's going to, just him being him and his personality and the fit in Los Angeles, he's got a ton of potential. I'm excited to see what he does on the field. Great family. We spent time with Zion yesterday at a video shoot. So nice. Obviously a unique family, unique talent. But yes, his NIL potential is really limitless.
All right. Last question, I promise this time. Of all of the guys that the new incoming players that you saw during the springtime, if you had to pick one that you think this guy is going to be one of those premier players for us this season, who would it be?
Ooh, that's
the quarterback is it, but I mean, other than the guys that we're really not talking about every day.
Outside of Caleb, man, that's tough. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna say it's someone that I didn't see in spring, but I think is someone that nobody's talking about and has so much potential, and is Eric Gentry. He is was a freshman All-American at Arizona State last year.
Yeah.
He's 6'6". You might walk up on him, you're like, this guy needs to add some weight, and he has more of a basketball frame, but it's coming. And when it does, and when everything clicks, and I think it's already clicking, he's got first round potential all over him. So cannot wait to see what he does.
All right, we're going to still see you on the sidelines this season.
I'll be there. I'll be there for you.
Right on. I just want to thank you. I just want everybody to know how vital that Spencer has been for the University of Southern California's football program. He's been a great friend to us. We will value his friendship long after we're all gone and he's off running a company of his own. And but hey, seriously though, thank you so much for doing this. I know you got busy stuff going on.
I appreciate it. I enjoyed it, and keep the tough questions coming. So I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Right. See ya.
Hey, 1 second. Oh.